This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you if people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else? Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.
Achieving a gorgeous grin from home isn't a total mystery with Bite Clear aligners. Just don't be surprised if all of your sleuthing friends start asking, "What's your secret?" Begin by ordering your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95. Bite Clear aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces. Plus, they offer flexible financing, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Hello, welcome. Let's chat. It's hard. You want to talk? I know, that's disappointing. Sit back. Let's work this out. How's it going? What are we doing here? Where are you going? Hey there. Wow. It's not always easy. It's amazing if you think about it. Let's think about this. Strange. I have some thoughts about that. Life is hard. Trauma bonded.
Right. The thing I kept thinking about the most when I was listening to this episode is that song. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. Pink paradise. Put up a parking lot. I know the Amy Grant version. I think there are other versions out there.
No, it's Joni Mitchell.
Oh yeah, that's probably original.
Yeah, Joni Mitchell.
Wait,
no, it's Paved Paradise.
Paved Paradise.
Paved Paradise. They put up a parking lot.
I thought Pink Paradise was like a place. Like they got rid of the Pink Paradise and put up the parking lot.
Like the Madonna Inn or something.
Oh my God, I can't believe this is caught on a recording. When did the song... Okay, when was the first time you heard the song? Who was singing it?
I think Counting Crows.
I didn't even know they sang it. They paved paradise.
They put up a parking lot.
That makes so much more sense. Oops, my bad.
So when you were singing it, Pink Paradise, I was like...
I thought Pink Paradise was like,
I know what you're saying.
Sock hop or something.
Strange.
There's a Celine Dion song where... Everything I am because you love me.
Yeah, because you love me, yeah.
But what's the chorus go? I was weak, and we stood tall, whatever. I'm everything I am because you love me. Anyways, that line where she says, I stood tall.
Yeah.
I used to just sing Ostatois. Because I couldn't decipher.
Ostatois. Yeah.
And my friend Amy Shoemaker caught me Greckian salad.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you saying? I was like, I don't know what she's saying, so I just say Ostatois. She's like, she says, I stood tall. I was like,
just like normal words.
Blown. Oh, so it's not Ostatois. That's weird.
So maybe we'll rewind and why did this episode remind you of Pink Paradise?
It's the whole idea of you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Oh.
I feel like that's what her parents were going through. And I think that's what kind of generated the change in them. It's a special gift that you get when you almost die, don't actually die. There's a lot of regret when you lose someone and you actually lose them. You wonder, how could we have resolved things between us, or I wish I could have said more or done more, etc. But when you almost lose someone, it really solidifies their value to you, inherent and to you. And I think that was the lament of her parents. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
And then you get that second chance.
Especially having had lost, it sounds like a few children
Oh, yeah.
Who went to leukemia, stillborn.
Yeah.
And there might have been more because she says she was pregnant 10 times. But I think Anne said that she had 6 siblings. So I feel like we're missing one.
Did she say her name?
Yeah, she's recognized as Anne. It's not anonymous.
Oh.
You don't know, but I do.
Okay.
Welcome to Trauma Bonded. I'm Elly Westberg, and I'm here with Therese Garcia.
Hello, hello.
And today we're discussing, this is actually happening, episode 297, What If You Were a Human Jumper Cable? Anne, our storyteller, grows up with a hard, abusive father and a bullying mother, but she finds happiness and acceptance in high school through cheerleading, friendships, and academic achievement. Then when she's 17, she's horrifically electrocuted, causing her to nearly die, causing the amputation of her leg in a lengthy hospital stay. While in the hospital, she's able to find her voice and her value and begin to feel compassion and understanding for her distraught parents at her bedside. It's these 56 days that shape her version of herself and how she sees everything. She finds purpose in her suffering and knows she can survive anything. And full disclosure, I'm the showrunner for This Is Actually Happening, and I have the privilege to vet stories and conduct pre-interviews before they go to Whit for the final interview. And T knows nothing about anything. She comes in fresh. And this show, Trauma/Bonded, is for the listeners, a space where we can talk about each episode, digest it, and reflect on it with empathy and also a bit of levity. That's Trauma Bonded. T, what stuck out to you as the heart of Anne's story?
I think I'd be able to distill it into one word.
Okay, go.
Power.
All right, girl.
Okay.
Bring it.
So, I was thinking about this a lot.
I got the power.
This feels a little bit like an origin story for her. She goes from before the accident, basically having no power, powerless, silenced, right? And then electricity surges through her body.
Oh, shit. Sort of like you might see like in a superhero story.
Yeah, like that's kind of how I was thinking about it.
Well, that's...
Because... yeah, like
that's cool.
All of a sudden, she's able to use her past to really be, I think it's more of a superpower now. I mean, she's able to be expressive, vulnerable. I mean, her literal, I don't really know what she looks like and what she looked like when she, like after the incident, but.
There are pictures of her
on
Actually Happening Instagram page. You'll see her before the accident and after.
Okay, gotcha. Wow. Her literal insides are showing on the outside is something I was thinking about as well. And that happens, I think, emotionally, that she's able to express herself and it becomes, I'd say, a superpower for her and that she brings out in others through what had happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think it's that superpower that transforms her parents or more so her father?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit. It's interesting when she talks about how other people see her and that she feels like it reveals their true selves.
Yes.
I mean, there were a lot of...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's varsity level right there, right? Like to not feel that and let that affect you in a negative way and to see it almost as a reflection of the other people's like innermost thoughts and fears,
Right. Like, I'm going to turn your judgment back around on you. Like the way that you're judging and perceiving me, rather than take that and internalize it and like decrease the value I see in myself.
Exactly.
I now see the nipple on your soul. Sorry, that's a Seinfeld reference.
Okay, I was like, nipple on your soul.
Yeah, I love that too. She's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like she's such a badass.
She's really cool.
She talks really slow. Like I sped it, like I listened to the first time just like normal speed and then I sped it up 2 times for like residual listen.
And it was still like
normal.
Yeah. Normal speed. But that's clear. I don't know, it made it more clear, and I was able to like.
She's so calm. She's just calm and just so herself.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
What about you, Ellie? What did you think the heart of the story was?
Oh, thanks for asking. I've got two, and I could have deleted the first one, but I just figured I'd go with it. The first one's kind of a basic bitch one. Survival, obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
She survives her father's abuse and her mother's chastisement / bullying, her burning rage inside that her father taught her to bottle, which he did as well. Her adolescence, electrocution, 3rd-degree burn, amputation, bandage changes.
Oh my God.
She's a burn survivor. You know, she really talks a lot about if you have purpose to suffering, you can survive anything.
Yeah.
So definitely like a story of survival. But I think the second one is more what I think the heart of the story is. And I say it's a story of shaping, and it's not reshaping or transformation, but shaping, because she talks about this, how she was kind of like empty. She didn't really have solid opinions about anything, really. You know, she was young. She's shaping this like vulnerable teenage woman who is standing at the precipice of life and of death into the woman and person she will ultimately become. And I think of that ambulance ride and her hearing that first utterance of a mind-blowing statement, "You're so brave. You're so brave." And I imagine it's like in a movie where she like kind of looks around and is all like, "Who, me? I'm the brave one?" Like, "Oh,
the person behind me?
Oh, stop," you know?
Yeah.
And it begins the shaping, because it's like, if I am so brave and no one's ever said it before, and I've never thought it before, and I didn't know I was it, if I'm so brave, then what else am I? Mic drop. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. There's so much more you don't even know about yourself yet.
Yeah.
That you could be. Yeah.
And then it's like every experience that she has, it's like she's just taking in information, and it's like shaping how she sees the world and what she thinks of it and what she thinks of her parents and how she's going to be and how she's going to live. It's like the most precious time that she could ever have had in her life. Like, I mean, I'm sure she would say, and she said something akin to it, like, this experience, her soul was meant to have this experience for all of these reasons, not just for herself. She thinks that she was there to reshape her father, but to make her into this woman that she is. It's real. She considers it a gift, and I think it really is. I mean, she really takes a lot from it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think about a lot when I listen to this story is just how lucky we are to have been born a little bit later in this whole spectrum of human existence. I think we were like one generation from being like totally fucked. Not that Anne's fucked, but a lot of her generation is, especially the generation before her. Like, we're so lucky to have been born later and into a more progressive time, and a time that we during our lifetimes have seen so much progress. Because her story, it really isn't that long ago in the whole scheme of things, but it really is a long time ago when you think about the progress. And, you know, she talks a lot about these old school ideas of hiding trauma, hiding grief, seeing feelings as weak, and, you know, seeing a shrink is taboo, and you can't express emotion.
Yeah.
And as a family unit, there's all this hiddenness. You have to present as a healthy and happy person and family at all times. And that's just like within the family unit, within the nuclear family, you know, but even progress, thinking about bigger ideas and bigger terms, like, you know, she got her settlement in 1977. So this is almost 50 years ago, you know, thinking about gender norms and misogyny and racism and ableism and homophobia and transphobia and fat phobia, like all this stuff, which we still have. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it's been solved, but it's a positive to see how much progress has been made. There has been a lot of progress made, and I feel like in a short amount of time compared to the whole of history. And I just want to encourage people, when you feel low and you're just constantly consuming the news and media and just seeing how everything's so shitty, Like, think about that and keep going and keep showing up and keep expressing yourself and keep demanding better of yourself and those around you. I think it's a good thing. Of course, I could talk about all the shitty ways that I'm not going to go negative. I'm not going to talk about economics and late stage capitalism and disappearing middle class. I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, good. I mean,
I'm going to digress on it, but I think socially, I think we tend to hear the stories, the salacious stories that make us think we're worse or we're regressing. But I think overall, the overall wave is trending toward good. Do you agree?
Oh, I would say so, for sure. I think just from personal, knowing how my mom was born in 1940, and she definitely, it was all about the gender norms, all the phobias,
yeah, isms,
all the judging from the outside and what we should look like and be like and act like.
Yeah.
Not to blame her, that's how she was brought up, but
no one wanted to be seen as different. It's like this shameful badge to stand out. Everyone wants to be perceived as normal. And I think a lot of that is where that comes from, that societal pressure to just blend in, be normal, don't rock the boat, don't draw any attention. It's all, based in fear.
But really nowadays, I feel like it's encouraged to be different, like gender, not even gender norms, but like gender identity.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that even my kids and just they just change, they switch out pronouns here and there. Like it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there's kids at school that don't necessarily abide by those gender identities. Or maybe they switch back and forth. And like Arlo's just like, oh, yeah. And it isn't even like I approve or I'm tolerating this. It's just like, oh, yeah, she was like this. And then the next day she's like, oh, yeah, and he was like that, and it's amazing. And that it's just a totally normal thing.
Yeah.
And how like you might express yourself and how you want to be and how you want to dress when you're younger, and not fear having to be ridiculed.
Does Arlo know they? Does he understand they? And are there any kids in his class that ask to be called they? I'm just curious.
I haven't heard of it. I've just noticed his language changes.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they is just a stepping stone to just anything. It could be they, but it could just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the next one is. There's been generations of, was it Zer and
them and Z,
but I wonder what the next one will be.
Yeah.
And I'm
hoping for a good one.
I'm happy.
Just grammatically, they is, I'm not, when I hear they, sometimes I get confused because I think of it as a plural. So I would like it if there was something that was more grammatically correct that we could use.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, T.
When you're talking about, let's just say,
I'll call anyone, I'll refer to anyone, whatever they want to, however, I do not care at all. But when you start to get into grammar rules, I'm going to start to get my back up a little bit about it, okay? I'm not alone.
I'm just saying when you don't know, let's say you don't know the gender of somebody you're talking about, somebody's referring to. You're like, oh, yeah, I think they lost their backpack.
You're right.
I think they left their backpack there.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, wait, how many people in this backpack?
No, you're not wrong. Building on that progress, I think in some way, and again, I'm not trying to like negate everything I just said, but I think social media is something that both adds to the progress, because we can see anything happening anywhere in the world at any time. Like that information is just like boom to you in a bolt of lightning. You don't have to wait for someone to report on it. You don't have to wait to see the paper come out. Like you're seeing things happen in the world in an instant. Live feeds, like as it's happening, you can see it on the other side of the world. And in those ways, social media is such a power for good, and it really does spur social change and political change and economic change. Like it has so much power for good. But I also see like the dark side of it. It makes me think of like what Anne is talking about so much is this experience she has in the hospital. It gives her these new things that she didn't know were out there, like attention and care and validation, adoration, grace, seeing people be grateful that you exist, that you're alive. And I feel like we try to find these things on social media, and it's not the place that we want to seek out those things. Like, it makes me think of Scamanda, right? Scamanda exists because she wants the attention and the care and the validation and the grace and seeing people value you for you being alive. And it makes me think of trauma competitions. The only way I'm going to stick out, the only way I'm going to be seen as special and as important is if I relay my story and all of the terrible things that ever happened to me, so someone sees me finally as valuable. And it's a terrible place to seek that shit, because most of it is either lies or half-truths, and you're never, and a lot of people find exactly what they're looking for that way. They become influencers. Good, more power to you. But all they've done is find a way to cultivate their lives, curate their lives for a hungry public. You know, we seek it out on social media where it often fails. We just want so much to matter to others. And it's hard because we have to find that within. And, you know, I've been thinking about, like, how do you make yourself feel like you matter? And I think the only way that you can really do it is by making other people feel like they matter. And I think this is in like tiny ways. Like, I want you, you know, T, I love you. I love your new haircut. I love your glasses that you're wearing, cosmetic things. Or you're so generous. Thank you for feeding me dinner. Thank you for, you know, like expressing to each other how we feel about each other. I think if you can abandon yourself and your need for all these things and be able to turn it around and give it to other people, I think inevitably it's going to come back to you. Because honestly, that's how like a reciprocal friendship works, you know? And I don't feel it. I believe that if you give it, you'll get it back. Call it karma, whatever you want. But people want to be around people that make them feel good, right? So if you don't feel good about yourself, let other people know how they make you feel. And inevitably, it's going to come back to you.
And that works both ways, I think.
But you don't try to get don't go and look at your home and garden influencer and comment on what you thought about her revamp of the coffee table and just sit there like holding your fist like, I hope she likes my comment, and like hang your hat on your entire self-esteem on whether she likes your fucking comment. Like, fuck that person. Turn to the person that's next to you in your home and let them know what you think of them. And I think that it's going to start coming back to you. That's my little rant about social media. But I think thinking about progress, you know, it went all kinds of ways. And I think that's one place that, as good as it is, it can be really damaging as well. We need to know how to use it. I saw it my dad, you know, before he died, 70-year-old man. Oh, I posted something on Facebook and I've only got 2 likes. And he's just sitting there just so fucking depressed. I'm like, Dad, you're so sad. This is so sad. Love yourself.
It's like, how does that determine your worth?
But people do. People want to be validated and heard and seen and get attention and care and all that shit. And that is how we do it. That is what we've decided is the way that we set ourselves apart and differentiate ourselves. We brand ourselves on our social media pages. And if we're not getting responses to it, then we think that we've somehow failed at being an important person. It's just total bullshit. Get off social media, you guys. Just do it. I do it for the most part. It's brilliant.
I was just going to say, I love all your charcuterie boards.
That's the only thing I do. I on Instagram, I don't post any pictures of myself or people I know. I determined a while ago that I'm only going to post things that I make. And I will tell you, when I don't get a lot of love for things, it makes me feel certain ways. And I hate that. I hate it.
Well, I for one, love them.
I know. And people do. But I'm saying we shouldn't. It's if that is making you feel bad about something that you've made, then don't do it. just enjoy the thing that you've made, and that's good enough.
I made my kids.
And you blast them out on social media, and you get a lot of love back for it.
But I don't determine like my worth from it. And I don't blast it that much, but I did when we took like our photos when you were over. When we took those photos, I totally thought it'd be hilarious to show the blurry ones where it's just like chaos, because there were 99 of those, and then one good one where everyone's clear and looking at the camera.
I feel slighted as the photog.
Oh.
All right, let's move on. I feel like, this experience that she has in the hospital, and it starts in the ambulance and it continues on in the hospital. It's the most shaping experience of her life, and ironically, she already loves the hospital, which is something you don't hear very often. This attention she gets from ICU adults and by her parents, the care, the grace, the adoration, the "you're so braves," the safe space where no one can criticize you, right? Who's going to criticize a burn survivor? There's healing. Everything's toward healing. You're allowed to express yourself. I mean, she howls at a nun in her face and the nurses just laugh at it. And who's going to tell her she can't? She's getting her fucking 3rd-degree burn bandages changed, and apparently terribly painful. And she's getting debris. And she's allowed to howl in a nun's fucking face. What this? I love that. It's a very unique little experience, or substantial experience that she has. She gets an outlet for her outrage. She's given permission to do whatever she needs to survive, whatever she needs to heal. And it's her deepest soul realizing how strong and a powerful person that she is. I mean, she makes clear decisions in this hospital stay. She realizes that she sees the flaws in her mother and makes this decision to separate herself from her permanently. If not for this experience, I mean, separate herself from perception of herself.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And ultimately, there's no bullies in a hospital.
Yeah.
This is like outside of the pain and suffering.
Yeah.
This is a perfect situation for a person that's at the stage of becoming a person. Why do we abuse and misuse people when they're well, but then as soon as we see them as mortal through accident or dying, or maybe even going through something severe like birthing a baby or something, we want to protect them and we might almost lose them. Why does it take that to be able to value people?
That's a really good question. It's like we forget.
Yeah. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Pink paradise.
See? Her mother with that you used to be so beautiful. What? Bitch, what?
No, she didn't.
Like what, bitch? What did you say to me?
No.
Before this happened, you were telling me I ate too much. I was a fatty, fat. And now your song is, "You used to be so beautiful."
I guess I'm like awful now, like the worst thing in the world.
Well, that too. But the point is, that was never expressed to her before this happened.
Oh, not at all.
Right? So everything's like in comparison. And like, why can't we say that to each other? And some people are really good at this. These people. You work with them. They see you and they're like, "Oh my God, you look so amazing. I love your earrings and your sweatshirt." And like, these people. They want you to feel validation. It just like oozes out of them.
Yeah.
You're like, well, okay, calm down. And you're like, it makes you uncomfortable a little bit, right? Because you don't know how to handle a compliment. But like, why can't we just say that to someone who isn't injured, but they're just imperfect? Okay. So and what's amazing about that is that through that statement, she sees that all that shit around her weight is her mother's shit. It has nothing to do with her ultimately. And she's going to decide to value herself over how she looks. And it really is this complete, like, this is her new mantra. This is her new paradigm for herself. This is the way she sees things. And she had like bits of it before, right? Like when she turned into a preteen, when her body started to develop and she saw the way that the world or men perceived of her, and she felt like she was being objectified, or she was starting to fall into that system that we all are subjected to, that your value is based on how you look. And she was aware of it and she hated it. But now she knows that she can reject it. And it's amazing. You're right.
That's what I'm saying. Superpower.
It's superpower.
You know, I almost had some word that I was going to use, but it was going to be something like mirror or reflection or something. But that is, I think, part of her superpower at this point. It's just like being able to reveal somebody, you know,
make someone see their own ass,
somebody else to themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that does have a name.
Yeah.
Or a word.
Yeah. There must be, but I don't have a lot of words.
Vocabulary is pretty small.
So
her saint's name was Bernadette. What was your saint's name? Have we talked about this?
Oh,
you're like, I probably do have a saint. You were confirmed in the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah, when I was confirmed.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to heaven.
But what's your saint's name?
I mean, I think it might have been Therese.
Mother Therese.
Saint Therese de Lisieux, the flower of Jesus.
Did you pick that for yourself then?
Dude, everything was picked for me. You think I'm doing anything?
Therese.
I was probably like, can we just like use my name? If anything, it was like that. Like, I don't know.
Like, Therese, you need to choose your name. You're like,
pick my name. Like, why am I even...
Pick it for me. I think it's interesting, though, that when she was confirmed, even before this accident happened, she picked Bernadette, which is a long-suffering redeems...
Oh, I know.
A sinner. Foreshadowing.
Total foreshadowing.
Let's talk about, like, how this experience changed her parents. Or specifically her father. You know, you got this tough kind of jackass Marine who hurt her and took her voice, told her not to express herself. She has this accident. She sees her father afraid. And what's her reaction? She feels compassion for this fucker, right?
Yeah. That was like the only time she got choked up.
And when she talks about Jesus, I mean, I cry.
Who doesn't, though, you know?
She sees...
For all my wasted years.
For the lost money, the lost tithe money, for thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's yours.
Funds.
That's yours. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Who does that?
Just till I was 29. She sees him cry. She feels compassion. And he's broken. He's finally like broken open for her. What do you think is happening here? What causes this?
They were so close to losing yet another child.
And he probably is expressing his grief, and it's not necessarily just about her, but it is about other children that he's lost. Yeah.
And maybe some guilt. I'm hoping, you know, I mistreated her. I abused her. When she talks about the abuse, like an early scar, I was like, oh no.
So he's, instead of just like losing her completely to death, he's now left with, this is the broken body of a person that's been in an accident that you used to also cause harm to. It's staring him right in the face. Yeah, I'm sure he's confronted with a lot of guilt for how he's treated her for so long. That's good. I hadn't really thought about that. You know, it's like, I guess I thought of it more like it's near loss. It's a near loss. It is now this chance to do it over and finally see the value in the person that you've controlled and dismissed and quieted and abused.
Even like from her mom's perspective, I guess she's now seen as a person, not as a woman, not as a whatever it is their expectations were. They're all fucked up.
I do think it's ironical though, you know, like, okay, so Anna's like, it means a lot to her that both of her parents come and see her every day for the 56 days that she's in the hospital. But I think it's ironical that society, even at that time, would dictate that they should be going there to see her every day. So it's like, as much as it's changing for everyone, they're still abiding by some societal expectation or edict. I mean, that's just like so her mom, you know? It's like, I want to be seen as like the doting mom that goes to check on her, even though I don't really feel like it, kind of thing. I got my kid, I got all these kids.
I got my job, I got my other kids, and here I am late night. It's hard.
You're like, you're finally in a space where you are allowed to express weakness. You are allowed to be emotional. Like, it is more expected of you than, it's funny. Like, when I think about it, it's more acceptable to be emotional with someone that's nearly lost their life than it is to be at the funeral of someone that has actually lost their life. Like, people feel like they can express more in a hospital than they're allowed to, like, at a funeral. Am I wrong there? But doesn't it feel like that's true? At least in America.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
I mean, other countries are more expressive at funerals generally, but it's like
you're
buttoned up.
Yeah, you're like a little bit
strong face.
Yeah.
Chin up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't break down in front of everybody else, even if you're one of the closest people to, the deceased. But at a hospital, for sure.
Be emotive about this person that survived something. Like, you're allowed to emote over that. Or they could die.
Or they could die on their way to death.
You're allowed to show those
scary and sad
emotions.
And you're breaking down.
Button right up. Yeah.
And then after it's done. And the other thing, like a hospital, you're only there with the closest people. And then at a funeral, there could be so many strangers even.
Wow, that's so true.
Or maybe you don't even feel comfortable to be.
You're going to more likely be emotional or expressive in a situation where, maybe it's just you next to her at the bedside, or it's just family. But you're right. As soon as you get in public, like a funeral, it's, button it up, strong. You're right.
There's a ritual, right? I mean, there's steps to it, but in the hospital, it's kind of
a little loosey-goosey,
unknown.
Yeah.
It's a bit loosey-goosey. Well, I also was thinking about the dad telling her, bottle it up, stuff it, all that. And then he was so upset, out in the waiting room, letting her friend know, hey, it's okay to cry.
Right. He's just like a new guy.
Let's just do it, Yeah.
Totally bizarre.
I really love that. Like, I'm pretty in touch with my emotions. I don't know. Like, either way, I probably won't be telling people to stuff it or it's okay to cry. But amazing.
I think it's because he recognized that it felt good. It felt right. It felt good. And in trying to feel better himself, he wanted to share that gift with someone else. And that's huge, huge progress.
Huge. But I will, in the end, she was saying that she was able to kind of forgive them or have that time to, like, for them to, I don't know, like they were human and they could be emotional with her.
Oh my God, I was just going to talk about this.
But her siblings never had that same chance, which made me feel...
gone.
Which made me feel like, so are they going to the hospital being sad about her and then going home and being assholes and beating the shit out of their other kids?
No, that felt weird to me too. Because I thought either, one...
Right?
Like, was there resentment from the siblings to, like, kind of see this sort of specialized behavior from their cruel father to now this injured daughter? But I guess otherwise, it's like, if they still feel this, even like during his death or past his death, then did he not fully change? Did he not give the same change in behavior to her siblings? Like, did
he let it all out?
Did he
at the
actually transform,
home?
or was it just something that she got to experience? Right.
Like, all of a sudden, she's just the favorite now that she's gone through this, and he almost lost her. Yeah. And then he goes home and it's like, these brats.
I don't even know.
They don't even know.
Yeah, your sister's so brave.
And look at you guys. Hey, baddies.
I mean,
it's like, what?
There are people that are really
I mean, I don't know.
Compartmentalizing stuff like that. They're not necessarily transformed. Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, also, we have to consider that Anne it feels like a super kind of evolved type of person. So maybe the behavior was changed for the siblings, but they just didn't have this sort of unique experience where it could really become clear to them in their mind's eye. You know, they just wanted to be reminded of and kind of set out on all the prior shit he'd done to them. I don't know. We don't know. It's only speculation.
Right.
Let's talk about how she looks. She talks a lot about this, her appearance.
Oh yeah.
In all kinds of ways. Like, it was almost hard to keep track of how many ways that she talks about this.
Yeah.
Valuing what's inside versus what's outside. You know, I love how she sees her body, like the way she talks about everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we touched on this a bit, you know, how she hates it when she hits puberty and she is realizing that she's seen as valuable because of how she looks. I loved how she would overeat to spite her mother. It was like this little petty revenge or quiet rebellion that she got to stage.
Yeah.
But then I loved it when she talked about being a cheerleader and being a sturdy bottom.
That was my favorite too. A sturdy like bottom. I don't think she.
Bottom of the
she used both of those words, but a sturdy bottom. That sounds a little.
She's 5'8" and 150 pounds. That sounds pretty fucking small to me. But I guess compared to like a 5 foot, 100-pound cheerleader in high school, yeah, she's gonna be the sturdy one. She called herself big at one point. I'm like, I don't think so, honey. But okay. But what I loved is that she even said she was the happiest she's ever been. She felt happy. She felt accepted. She was thriving. And I feel like this is like goals for our children, right? Not lovers. We shouldn't want our kids to want lovers. We should want them to want friends, right? And good.
Yes. Though she did say she didn't have a boyfriend because she was unattractive.
That's great because she was happy.
Come on. But that's great too. But don't say you're unattractive. You are attractive.
I think she's talking conventionally.
Because you're strong.
But
because you're sturdy. Okay.
But she found acceptance and validation through good friends, and she found it through getting good grades. And she found pride in being a sturdy bottom on the bottom of that pyramid.
She didn't say sturdy bottom, Ellie.
She's happy and accepted.
She didn't say sturdy bottom.
That's all I'm saying.
That sounds... Am I weird? Am I gross?
She's sturdy and she's the bottom of the pyramid.
When you say she's a sturdy bottom, it's like, let's talk about what we are. I'm lesbian, sturdy bottom, leather, you know.
And then after the accident, it's like this line of thinking that she was already having. Again, it's not solidified because she's still like growing and figuring it out. But after the accident, now her values are like completely solidified. She sees her body in this totally different way, and she refuses to be judged for hers. And we talked about this. She turns it around and judges others for the way that they look at her. She's a fucking badass, man. Fucking badass.
She is badass.
That's how we should want our children to be. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like this isn't talked about enough.
Yes.
We should be saying to our kids, the last thing you want is a lover. I mean, we would never say lover because that's just like corny. The last thing you should want is a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Go for friends. Go for activities. Go for grades. Go for fun and happy. Like, there's plenty of time to like be in a relationship. So stupid. Like, oh man, you know, this is something I'm just in the moment when I was in high school and I didn't have all the boyfriends in the world, like it felt like, you know, everything was horrible. But looking back, like I just know that protected me from so much that I could just grow into who I was without having to worry about that shit. And I just want that for your kids. I don't have kids, but I want that for your kids.
Oh, for sure. I think about my kids too. And I think about, you know, when I was in high school and I didn't have a lover. And I was deep in the closet.
Walk-in closet.
And that's, because I had to hang out in there for a long time. But thank goodness, like...
I agree.
I don't know. It really helped me out that I got A lot. I had a lot of great friends.
And I feel like this comes out in little, like, stupid ways. You know, I remember my mom never said it to me. Maybe she knew I wasn't pulling anyone. But, like, she would say to my sister, Sarah, who's the hot one, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have someone going to prom with? You know, it was just always this thing that was talked about. And I hated it. And I would never fault my mom. Like, my mom, she came from that generation that Anne came from. You know, it was just highly valued. And I just want us to have kids that just wait on that shit. I know it's hard not to, you know, sometimes you just think that you've fallen in love.
Yeah.
But just wait on that shit. And I don't mean like true love waits. I mean like just hang out with your friends, get good grades. Yeah, be you.
Find out what's up with you, you know.
I must have a lover.
Before you're like, I must have a lover. It's like, no, you don't. And I'm kind of grateful I didn't have any siblings.
Yeah, it's a weird standard.
Then they'd have someone to compare me to. I think they knew like something was up with me. They weren't asking.
Yeah, they didn't know what was normal.
But one thing today that was interesting. Evie came up to me and she had her like tummy out and she's like, my tummy's so big. And I was like, yeah, I love it, you know? And she was like, it's too big. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, where are you hearing this? What's going on? Is society coming through? Like, how is it even, like, I don't even know. You're not even going to like, how? I'm looking around. Like,
what are they talking about on Bluey?
You know, because I know it just seeps in. It's going to seep in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that dog is so skinny and hot, you know? So gross. But I like was so aware and so like had to, and also truth, you know, I was like,
belly is the right size.
Your body is perfect the way it is. Like
it's supposed to be.
It's exactly how it is. It's perfect. And like, if it gets bigger or smaller, it's totally perfect.
Hit her face. Like,
and she's like,
your body's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you don't understand. Your body is a wonderland. I don't know, but I
say weird things to kids.
But that's strange.
What was your reaction?
But yeah, I was definitely. No, she was like, okay. Then kiss it. She said, kiss it. I was like, okay. So I kissed it. And she's like, oh. And I was like, okay.
Where did she get
done with that? And she ran off. I mean, and forgot about everything. I don't know. But it's out there. I don't know where. It's out there. It's kind of like when they say, like, you're born knowing the Beatles or something. So it's there.
I guess that makes sense.
It's in the world. It's in the air. So I feel like I just need to, and I want to treat her like I would treat the boys as well. Another conversation just today, looking for classes for Arlo. He's like, I want to take hip hop classes and art classes. Like, okay, because he doesn't want to do sports. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. So I was showing him like these dance classes, and I was like, what about ballet? And he's like, no, that's for girls. I was like, never
do that. When? Root it out.
We need to, like, he's getting in ballet right now.
Did you probe?
I was like, football players play dance ballet.
Yeah,
it's good for balance. Like, I was
is he into it, or did you change his mind? Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely not into it.
But he wants to take hip hop classes. No. That's cool. I love it that he's not into sports.
Yeah, and maybe ukulele.
What is it about sports that he doesn't like?
Oh my God. A mom at the school. I don't know. Well, when I was like, oh, do you want to take art class? And he's like, is it a competition? I was like, no, it's just like they'll show you how to paint.
I love it. You deserve that.
I know.
I'm going to teach you a few things.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I mean, these two moments happened today. I mean,
you are like
day.
getting into
nonstop.
the thick of parenting because your kids are like becoming fully sentient beings, and you're going to be crossing these.
They have thoughts and stuff,
thresholds all the time, and like steering at them in directions.
And you got to watch out, because even what if they do the opposite of what I say? They don't want to do what I say because you're crazy, Mom. Whoever said, yeah, belly, it's for girls. I was like, there's literally a boy in this photo of a ballet in a ballet class.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're gonna,
anyway,
it's like another job, man.
There's a lot.
I think though your kids are going to be okay though, because you have such a peaceful, loving household, and like you and Gwen have a good relationship, and like there's never extreme behaviors going on. So I think everyone feels safe to express themselves and ask questions, and like it's just calm there. So I think you're going to be okay.
I mean, most of the time. But yeah, I'm hoping. But you're battling so many things. It's a battle. Yeah. I'm battling the world.
You're right. It's in the air.
Coming from somewhere.
I mean, this isn't exactly akin to what you're saying, but I remember being in a grocery store or something like years ago, and just sort of absentmindedly singing along to like an NSYNC song. And I remember I stopped myself and I was like, how do I know the words to this song? I've never sought out this band. I don't listen to pop radio. I haven't bought their album. I'm not watching them on TV, but somehow this song was able to infiltrate my brain, and now I'm finding myself absentmindedly singing along with it. You're right. Shit goes out into the atmosphere. And
do you think she implied that she purposefully
shit,
or that things happen for a reason?
No. Well, I think it's like sort of that, but also I think she might be implying it might be like a subconscious kind of thing, like because she talks about, she thinks it was her like soul's destiny to have this experience. So maybe it was like her deepest soul propelling her out of the car. You're right, because she does spend some time with wondering, one, why didn't she just drive forward? And two, why would she step out of the car? But it was her destiny. It was her soul's destiny. Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of Trauma Bonded. You can find our show or podcast or cup. If you like us, please rate and review us on Apple or other places, or reach out on Instagram. Thanks to Anne for sharing their story and giving us the opportunity to talk about it. And thanks to the This Is Actually Happening team, including Whit, Missildine, and Andrew Waits, and the maker of our music and website, Nathaniel Stromboli. And thanks to Forrest Chiras for editing this episode, and to Katie Capel for building those blasted Instagram posts. You can contact us at traumabondedpod@gmail.com and find us on Instagram at traumabondedpodofficial, or visit our website at traumabondedpod.com. As a reminder, our bonus comments episode was released last week. Go check it out. I've been told it's hilarious.
There you are, talking to yourself again.
And out now.
You are.
Oh,
no,
me?
You're hilarious.
You think it's hilarious? Oh, go on. Stop. And out now is our first storyteller follow-up from the anonymous mom of This Is Actually Happening, episode 128, What If Your Son Stabbed Your Daughter? It's a short but sweet follow-up on how they're all doing. Take a listen to that. And if you swore off us before, maybe you'll give us another try. We are trauma bonded to the story, to the storyteller, to the listeners, and to each other. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Love you, Elly.
Love you, T.